Okay, good evening everyone. So first one on Bitcoin. Before going into the chart, I want to show a small fragment, it's less than a minute, from a previous video. It's just to show, because people are getting emotional and their favorite Twitter characters or whoever they respect, they tweet bullish stuff, while in reality they are taking profits from buying the same zone as we did. So it's kind of to show perspective and to always stick to the plan. I will be selling, I will be doing massive profit taking on this area right here. Does not even have to hit the yearly floor. I will rather take my profit from this whole run up and just know that the downside is very big, right? You see, so I rather sell out almost all here, sell the remaining right here, and then when it does break above and it gets confirmation, then I'll get back in. I don't care that I'll have to buy X amount of percent higher. All I care about is make my money right here all the way to the upside and secure those profits. When we do get this and secure those profits as posted earlier as a reminder. So let me put this up on full screen first. So the video post showed was just to show you that emotions should not get the upper hand. You should stick to the plan where you risk very little. You see, 2%, even if you took the previous low, for longer term positions or not holding on stop right there. In the previous one it's 8%, and you have your upside. The first one's right here. It's 25, it's 45, it's 65, it's 80, even up to 85%. So you should not care that it can just moon higher. You should care about taking profits. You should only shift your money when the odds are in favor, not at 5.6k, right? So I was taking profit up to 5,600. What was the high? Not sure. High was 5,650 3 days ago. So yeah. Also, something to keep in perspective is if you make 65%, as I mentioned before, you take very heavy profits here. You don't buy, it's for selling. So you take 65% profit, but it's also 65% extra to use again in another optimal scenario, and you can keep growing your stack. You decrease the bet, but you have to be patient. Same for Tron, for Cardano, for the other charts posted. It's having patience. When everyone thinks it's gonna moon, you just patiently sell the green, buy the red. It's illogical sometimes, but you just gotta stay objective and stay with the plan. And just if you love the project, you should just split it up. Trading and investing is something different, or a long-term trade is something different. You can give that more slack, but you gotta keep the emotions out. It's not good for the balance. So anyway, getting into it. So to this point, you all know that I expected just some wiggling, and eventually this zone to be the pivot point. Does it mean this was the high? No. I'll get into that in a second. So this zone was expected to be a pivot point when liquidity got tapped. So it means it gives an opportunity for big money to take sizable positions, because otherwise there is a lack of liquidity and they cannot get their orders filled. So you can kind of know upfront which zones are in favor of that. So say the zone would break, then it would have increased momentum because the shorters would be getting back out. at another key level, or key levels, which would be likely. So you also know that from this scenario expected, I am expecting the price to tank down again. So either towards the 200 moving average on the weekly, 200 simple moving average on the weekly. So I would have expected to move down either to the 200 MA on the weekly, or either double bottom right here, or even 2750, 2500 as the bottom of the market, then followed by a reversal on high volume. So since we did not rate 6K and we did not tap it yet, it is possible that we do not get there and it retraces. Say this would happen if we get a retrace from here and we test anything from 4,100, 4,400, give or take, or even just holds the monthly here, 4,400 again, give or take. I would say goodbye to the odds of it. So the odds would decrease that significantly, in my opinion, that I would not see prices go any lower. If price dips in, price holds and takes off on volume again, then the odds of ever seeing these prices below again are heavily increased, in my opinion. So it would have been a different story if we just would have had a shot up, consolidation, just a shot up right up here. Then I would have expected maybe not this to hold and just tank beyond it. But if we do not reach higher as here, this is the retrace, and we go from 5,650 to the green zone right here, then I would not be taking profit again on the way up as doing now. So to be clear, all my chips from taking the profit from these 2 points, they are staying off the table. Anything left will be sold up here. So this was the major one. Anything left will be sold up here. If price does not reach here, then I am not interested in buying here again. So either if this consolidation holds, which is another scenario, so maybe do it in chronological order. First thing, if you're a bull, you want to be looking for a higher low to form, keep bullish structure intact. If higher low breaks, means the 1.618 broke as well. Then next thing you should be looking for is the consolidation of the previous zone after the big bull break. So the bottom of your consolidation zone, 4,775. Roughly, if this breaks, you will have a high chance of just testing this 200 MA with the 4,400 monthly support, and it is very likely. So if the higher low does not form, expect this consolidation. This was scenario 2. Post 3 scenarios as an update. So scenario 2 would be this one holding, and scenario 3 is the optimal one for us. If price tanks into the box, it's time to pull out heavy capital, for me at least, and I will be if price comes here, I will be having the highest exposure from 2017 in altcoins. So in general, the highest exposure. So there will be no USDT or no fiat reserve left to take into play, which is rather abnormal, just given the high odds of this zone, especially after confirming. It would have increased odds of never seeing prices below 4,000 again. So that given in mind is bringing out my last how you say this, not keeping the percent shift between Bitcoin, USDT or fiat as usual. This would be like an extreme scenario to be all in crypto and none into USDT or anything else. So the step would be 0, and also the Bitcoin percentage in my portfolio is mostly very high, and the altcoin is pretty spread out. It's just it's always proportioned. So again, since 2017, if we hit this box, I will be having very, very high exposure to altcoins, maybe a little more than should be good, but it's layered into different plans if we get a scenario. So if there is a loss, if the market does turn against all the odds, the losses will be minimal, while the potential upside is very high. So it's not just like otherwise 20-40%, it could be potentially 1000% or 2000% to the upside. Hence why I will be using this zone to be dividing heavy capital as mentioned before. So until now there's nothing to say extra, besides the dump volume was very high because the news probably drove a lot of people into panic selling as well, adding to volume and momentum a little bit, but in general I think it's all made up front, and yeah, so it could recover, sure, but I'm not buying, I'm not interested. I'm just keeping the profits taken, and I'm going to use them again when the odds are optimal again. Not going to use any heavy capital for getting positions. I might be playing some trades shorter term, but the capital used is way different than in the heavy capital situations. So for now this is it. I think I said most of it. So gonna close this one off, and then I'll shift back and do another one on Ethereum.